the Chester Historical Society. I am bringing today to you another historic moment. I am standing in Stevens Memorial Hall in the front entryway, and today Micheal Shackelford and Don Brown installed a new exhibit using great Chester historical memorabilia that has been stored in the attic for decades.
Don installed a museum-style molding mounting system, which allows hanging without making any holes in the walls. We are so fortunate to have Micheal Shackelford, who lives in Chester, as a member of the Chester Historical Society. He, by trade, is a senior museum designer. Micheal helped Don hang and decide the placement for this display. Here Don is hanging the portrait of Benjamin Chase, who was born in 1799. He was Chester's greatest historian and wrote the first book on Chester's history in 1869. Benjamin was an abolitionist, and I mention him in my other YouTube about slavery in Chester. He was a leader of the Presbyterian Church and left, taking a stand against slavery.
I am standing here in front of a sign that was donated by Kevin Scott. It's of a painting business that was owned by John West. The sign is dated 1939. Notice the telephone number on the sign. It is 7-3. That was part of the old telephone system we had in town. That was before we had rotary system in town. That was back when those old crank phones. John West was a very well-known person in town. He was the last person to ring the bell in the Baptist church. And he was part of a committee of 5 people that were named to work with the Congregational Church to bring the two churches together and unite them. He stayed on as an active role in the church. He organized and coordinating the digging out of the basement of the Congregational Church. And they built school classrooms down there as well as offices. He's done an awful lot in the town.
The next portrait to be hung on the display is one of Arthur Wilcomb. Arthur Wilcomb owned Wilcomb's store. He was the first telephone operator for Chester, which was inside of his store. He was postmaster for 37 years. He was one of the corporate officers of the Derry Chester trolley line. He was the master of ceremonies for the opening of the trolley in 1896. He was a state representative, and during World War I, he was the local recruiting officer for the Army and Navy. The first car to ever come to Chester was owned by Arthur Wilcomb. Here is a photo in the car with his wife. Notice the right-hand driving wheel. Hanging in this new display area is the original Ebenezer flag gift shop sign. The shop was originally located in what is now Bittersweet Blessings. I have done a whole YouTube on the history of this building. Ebenezer Flagg was the second minister to the Congregational Church. His house was originally close to the road and moved back to be the L of the larger home. You can see on the back right of this photo is where the L was, where Lucy Reed in the late 1960s opened this gift shop and knitting shop. Lucy was also a Chester tax collector. Daughters Heather and Holly told me their father David was chief of police, a selectman, and a member of the volunteer fire department in Chester also. Next on the display wall, Micheal explains the 2 maps which were hung.
So we were able to hang up this 1857 copy of a map of Rockingham County The Historical Society has 2 of them. This is the better looking of them. In 1857, the roads of Chester and even of Derry, you can tell this is the period before there were railroads, and the Chester Turnpike is still in commission at that point. And we were able to hang up a copy of a map that Benjamin Chase had prepared for his history. This shows all of the little towns around Chester that were cut out of the original Chester Township, so that Chester itself kept only the little lower southern eastern corner of it, but otherwise you got Auburn, Raymond, Candy, Hooksett, and what had not quite happened yet was Manchester.